your desire. So, full of questions, are you? Now I have enough time to study Mother's grimoire to find a way to prevent her from stealing my body in the future. For she will be back. One day, I have no doubt of that. And if I cannot protect myself, one day I will track her down again in whatever body she inhabits, and she will die again and again if need be. But there is no need to think of such things now. I have you to thank for saving me, so let us return to the task of dealing with the Darkspawn, no? You should not be so... You have no idea what will happen in days to come to make such promises. Let us go. There is much to be done before... There is still much to be done.
It speaks. It doesn't have better things to do. Did I not already tell it that I do not remember doing such? I remember having a master. My memories of what happened to him are vague. Clever and true. Oh, very well. Let me see what I can recall. My former master enjoyed experimenting upon me. I remember that much. There was tinkering with spells, and then the crystals. He was very eager to alter my function, I think. Flattery, and obvious flattery, too. I feel warm and fuzzy inside. He possessed my control rod, and back then, it would have prevented me from doing anything he did not command me to, no matter how I might have wished to. So what happened? I am unsure. He was experimenting, and then... nothing. Oh, ho, ho. It does like to laugh, does it? But who knows? I may have such a thing. And then he was gone. I was standing where I was, in the village, and I could no longer move. The villagers came, poked and prodded me in fear, and then realized they could neither move me nor destroy me. So they simply left me. And in time, I forgot I hadn't stood there all along. In fact, at first I found it more of a relief. For so many years I'd had to leap to that little toadstool's every command. Get this, pick up that, put it down, pick it up again. The gall! At first I'd hoped he'd simply decided to leave me there paralyzed. An acceptable trade-off. After years passed, I simply stopped caring. I think I was ready to move on. Another few years and the moss would have covered my face. And then where would I have been? Whatever the mage did seemed to render the control rod useless, for which I should be thankful, yes? And provided it doesn't decide to copy his experiments, not that I would allow it, it is nothing to fear from me. Much. The things that it fights, and it fights things often, that is a different story. Let us get back to the walking and the fighting. My stone is beginning to itch again.
I got a moment, sure. What about? What? Miss Orzammar? Are you mad, in addition to being ugly? They treated me like a puddle fly back there. I'm never going back. You get a sword or an axe, and are told to go out and defend your city. It's the best thing in the world. That is until you try to live in the city you saved. Sure, if you like following orders from some shaper with his head so far up his own arse he can't see out his neck. I mean, they train you to kill, teach you to harness your rage at the first noise you hear, then try to set 100 sodding rules about it. Like those provings. Ancestors show their favor through the strongest arm, right? So why so many rules saying how to fight and when you win and not to bloody kill? Killing's what swords are for. If that's how you feel, I'll try that out next time the Darkspawn are chewing on your leg. This makes me cranky. Don't you have any other inane questions? Well, what do you think? I mean, she was my wife. I spent 2 years trying to save her while she was off boffing that tramp and feeding my cousins to the Darkspawn. And now she's dead. And there's no way to ever make things better. It's good to be with friends, you know. Or at least chest deep in fallen enemies. You want to get moving now? My throat's sore from all this relating.
Well, aren't you sweet and attentive? Of course. All right. It is my job to spin yarns after all. Which one? Andraste was the Maker's chosen. The Maker had long since abandoned the world when the sound of her singing turned his ear. Beauty, grace, and wisdom enraptured him, and he offered to take her from this flawed world to become his divine bride. But Andraste had an earthly husband and would not forsake him. Instead, she beseeched the Maker to return to his people once more. So earnest was her plea that the Maker was moved, and promised that he would create a paradise on earth if all abandoned their false gods and turned once more to him. And this is why Andraste began her exalted march on the idolaters of the Tevinter Imperium. The Maker granted her his powers with which to smite her enemies. Andraste brought the Imperium to its knees, and her victories converted many to the worship of the Maker. Alas, it was the frailties of men that betrayed and killed Andraste. Her earthly husband, Maferath, a chieftain of the Alamari tribes himself, grew jealous as his wife's popularity and influence overshadowed his own. She was also revered as the Maker's betrothed, and Maferath began to see their own bond waning in significance as Andraste became ever more devoted to the Maker. Out of envy and spite, Maferath made a pact with the Archon Hysarian of Tevinter, allowing his beloved Andraste to be ambushed and captured. Andraste was burned at the stake in Minrathous, the capital of Tevinter. The Tevinter Chantry claims that in Andraste's last moments, Hysarian's heart softened, and he heard the voice of the Maker telling him to end her suffering. He plunged his sword into her heart, and as her blood washed over his hands, he became one of the faithful. Dissenters said that the Archon only converted because he could not stem the tide of Andraste's cult, and was forced to do so to stay in power. We will never know for sure.
What say you? By all means. Again? Well now, what might interest you, I wonder? Shall I describe the stages involved with Lanthrax poisoning? I watched a man go through all 7 once. No, I'll not inflict that upon you just yet. Let's see, how about the largest battle I ever took part in? That would have been the slaughter of Prince Azrin. Did you hear of that down in these parts? Me? Not personally, but I did take part in the attack. Prince Azrin was 4th in line to the throne, you see. He started off as 11th, but worked his way up the old-fashioned method by inheriting control of an entire Crocel from his grandfather. After assassinating his way through the royal family, the king hired 3 other cells to take down Prince Azrin once and for all. I was in one of those cells. Antivan royalty is very much bound up in the Crows. You wouldn't want it run by a bunch of commoners, after all, would you? And this means they get involved in politics quite often. This particular fight nearly bankrupted the nation, I understand. It almost ended up putting a Crow on the throne, a commoner. But that's a whole different story. I played a very small part. My part in the entire battle was taken up trying to reach Princess Verina, who had thrown in with her brother. I killed about 11 of her guards personally before I got knocked out of a window. I landed in a river and nearly drowned. I was fished out by some urchins who robbed me blind. Made off with my boots, too. At least they didn't cut my throat. And that was my part in history. I had to find my way back to the safe house, bruised and naked, and thankful to be alive. But there you go. Tale told. Let's be off before I tell more embarrassing stories, huh?
What's on your mind? I will answer to the best of my ability. People don't become mages. They are born mages. The talent just surfaces later. But you are asking how I ended up at the Circle. I was brought there by the Templars, just like many of the other apprentices. I don't remember very much. I was very young then. I didn't have a family. I never knew my real parents. My earliest memory was of hiding in a hayloft on a farm, trying to keep warm. I was found, and the farmer's wife was kind enough not to send me away. But they had children of their own, and I was never made to feel welcome. The eldest son was the worst. He was always calling me a stray, and throwing anything he could get his hands on at me. And I don't know how it happened, but one day, he just found his hair on fire. Fortunately, there was a large trough nearby. He ran screaming, dripping head and all, to his mother. I was shut up in the barn, with a bowl of water and a crust of hard bread. The Templars arrived several mornings later. One of them ignored me, but the other was kind to me. He gave me sweets, and even sat me on his shoulders once, when I wanted to look over a high wall that ran along the road. I'll never forget the moment the Templars led me into the entrance hall of the tower. I had never seen anything so grand in my life. I stopped being afraid then. I knew I was home. Well, that's about all there is to my tale. That's how I came to the Circle. I would be lying if I said it was easy. First, there were rules, and we were constantly watched to make sure we behaved appropriately. Then there was the study of magic. We had to cast the spells just so, control the effects completely. A single word spoken incorrectly, a gesture out of sync, and lack of focus. And we needed to have perfect focus, or we would be in danger. It may seem that way sometimes, but it was the best thing for me. I was given the opportunity to develop my skills, to learn. And there was joy in life at the Circle. The joys of fellowship, in knowing that you were not alone in your struggles. In spite of everything, I was happy in the tower, and I loved it.
All the fiends ahead.
Orzammar has heard your call. We march for you, Warden.
I'm wondering, Morrigan, do you believe in the Maker?
Certainly not. I've no primitive fear of the moon, such that I must place my faith in tales so that I may sleep at night.
But this can't all be an accident. Spirits, magic, all these wondrous things around us, both dark and light. You know these things exist.
The fact of their existence does not presuppose an intelligent design by some absentee father figure.
So it is all random then. A happy coincidence that we are all here.
Attempting to impose order over chaos is futile. Nature is, by its very nature, chaotic.
I don't believe that. I believe we have a purpose. All of us.
Yours, apparently, being to bother me.
Yes? What are you doing here? No. No, I am Waylon, Brother Genitivi's assistant. When you first came in, I was hoping that you had news of Brother Genitivi. Wishful thinking, it seems. I haven't seen Brother Genitivi in weeks. He sent no word. It's so unlike him. I'm afraid something has happened. Genitivi's research into the urn may have led him into danger. Perhaps the urn has been lost for a reason. I pray for Genitivi's safety, but hope dwindles with each passing day. I tried to send help, but some knights came from Redcliffe looking for him not long ago. I sent them after Genitivi, and they too have disappeared. Well, they haven't returned, and they sent no word either. I don't know. After what happened to Genitivi, can you blame me for thinking the same thing could happen to the knights? Perhaps I am just a pessimist. I hope I am wrong. Now don't ask me where they went. You'll go after them. And what if ill luck should befall you too? This search is a curse on all of us. Some things are not meant to be found. I know that now. So be it. All he said before he left was that he would be staying at an inn near Lake Calenhard, investigating something in that area. I don't know. All I discovered from going through his research was that he was staying at the inn. Yes, of course he told me, but I also went through his things to see if I could find other clues to his whereabouts. That's not true. I told you everything I know. Brother Genitivi told me about the inn, and that's all. Us? I mean me. There is no us. Bah! Why do I keep up this charade? I gave you a chance to turn aside and forget you ever heard of Genitivi and the urn, but you persisted. Now it has come to this. Andraste, forgive me, I do this in your name.
Very well. in Haven. There's nothing for you here. What do you want? Who? Perhaps revered Father Eirik will know of whom you speak. Unfortunately, he's ministering to the villagers at the moment and cannot be disturbed.
Revered father? I've never heard of this.
It's always been thus in Haven. We do not question tradition. Our ways are not the ways of the lowland cities. The urn is nothing but a legend. I do not know who Brother Genetivi is or what he says. However, I'm sure people can convince themselves of anything. No. It's always been thus in Haven. We do not question tradition. Ask and be on your way. Haven's always been here. My family knows no other home. Father Eirik is our spiritual leader and guide. He's in the chantry giving a sermon. You should not disturb him. We keep to ourselves. We see no need to announce our presence to the world. It's more peaceful that way. Then perhaps you should return to the lowlands. We do not appreciate lowlanders looking about our home as though it was some sort of zoo. You may trade for supplies at the shop if you wish. Then I suggest you and your companions leave.
They are hiding something. 'Tis obvious, is it not?
Interesting strategy. Tell me, do you intend to keep going north until it becomes south and attack the Archdemon from the rear? Truly, it would surprise me if my enemy counterattacked by running away and climbing a mountain. And that is more important than the Blight? Why? His army was broken at Ostagar. He is a solitary old man. Why do you fear him? Revenge will not end the Blight. We're wasting effort. You haven't thought this through. It is, however, a wise plan. I trust you with my life, but this is not my life at risk. It is our goal. Be careful, Kadan. I have spoken my mind. Let us waste no more time here.
Come, Bonnie Lynn. Tell us where you've been. Were you up, were you down? Chasing rabbits round the town. Come, Bonnie Lynn. Tell us where you've been. Come, Bonnie Lynn. We've a bed to put you in. It is soft, it is warm. It will shelter from the storm. Come, Bonnie Lynn. We've a bed to put you in. Dear Bonnie Lynn, sleeps the peaceful crib within. A mossy stone, a finger bone. No one knows but Lynn alone. Dear Bonnie Lynn, sleeps the peaceful crib within. Who are you? You shouldn't be here. I asked you first. Who? Why would you come here looking for someone? Lowlanders don't belong here. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Haven is Haven. But I have a secret. Do you want to see? Over by the mountain. It's lucky. I keep it with me. Don't tell anyone, all right? Mother said that lowlanders aren't supposed to know about Haven.
I was not expecting to find something so unsettling.
That is human blood. I just do. I also know that no one can lose that much blood and live.
Enemies ahead.
Liliana, what do
I
you
could do
want
that for you.
from me?
Nothing. I'm just curious. There's a lot we don't know about you, Sten. Except that you're a big softie.
Please stop saying that.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make fun of you. There's nothing wrong with having a heart, Sten. It's just not what I expected.
Why?
You're so canary. All the stories speak as if you were a hurricane or an earthquake rather than people.
Kunari are most dangerous because we are thinking men and not an unthinking force.
I don't understand. What do you mean?
For your sake, I hope you never find out.
I don't like this. It's almost too quiet. Something's not right. I can hear it.
It is a quiet enough room.
Defend yourself! So, you truly do not believe in any sort of higher power?
It has been bothering you, I see. No, I do not. Must I?
What do you believe happens to you after you die, then? Nothing?
I do not go to sit by the Maker's side, if that's what you mean.
Only those who are worthy are brought to the Maker's side. So many other sad souls are left to wander in the void, hopeless and forever lost.
And what evidence of this have you? I see only spirits, no wandering ghosts of wicked disbelievers.
It must be so sad to look forward to nothing, to feel no love and seek no reward in the afterlife.
Yes, the anguish tears at me so. You have seen through me to my sad, sad core.
Now you're simply mocking me.
You notice? It appears your perception know no bounds.
Allow me. I could do that for you. It sounds like they are singing the chant in there. Maybe we should have a look.
Ah, so everyone is within the chantry. How lovely for them.
We are blessed beyond measure. We are chosen by the holy and beloved to be her guardians. This sacred duty is given to us alone. Rejoice, my brethren, and prepare your hearts to receive her. Lift up your voices and despair not, for she will raise her faithful servants to glory when her... Ah, welcome. I heard we had a wandering about the village. I trust you've enjoyed your time in Haven so far? Perhaps. But staying hidden means staying protected. And we must protect Haven and our charges at all costs. We don't owe you any explanations for our actions. We have a sacred duty. Failure to protect her would be a greater sin. All will be forgiven.
Who are you? They've sent you to finish it. You don't know how glad I am to see someone who isn't from this village. The leg's not doing so well, and I can't feel my foot. Thank you. That feels much better. I don't have time to rest now. I'm so close. The urn is just up that mountain. My research led me to Haven, and I have heard the villagers talking. I know the urn is here. Haven lies in the shadow of the mountain that holds the urn. There is an old temple there built to protect it. The door is always locked, but I know what the key is. Iric wears a medallion that opens the temple door. I've seen what he does with it. Yes, that is your key. Take me to the mountainside, and I will show you. It is not that far, and will you let me lean on you? For the urn, any pain is worth enduring. All right. What is on your mind? Yes, of course. How could I forget? Iric said they were ambushed, some killed, a few brought back to Haven to be questioned. He was so self-righteous about it, so smug. He seemed pleased that he had tortured and murdered these men. Good. Iric and his fellows were a blemish in the Maker's sight. If the Maker would even deign to look upon this world, that is. Let's just talk about something else now, shall we? Well, it wasn't exactly what I expected it to be. They call themselves the Disciples of Andraste. They are very, very devoted. One could say fanatically so. They must be here to protect the urn, but they speak of Andraste as though she were still alive. I thought so at first, but I'm not so sure anymore. Was there something else you wanted to discuss? Pure luck. I wasn't even looking for any village. I had always assumed that the temple that housed the urn would be lost to time and abandoned. It took years of study to narrow down its location to this range of mountains. Then, completely by accident, I came across an unrelated document that mentioned a village called Haven. It was a 100-year-old log of the Denerim Chantry's business transactions. In it was an account of a dwarven trader who had failed to transport goods from Orzammar that had already been paid for. There was a blizzard, and his caravan was turned off the path. They eventually came across a small human village that was not on any map. The trader tried to gain entry to take shelter from the storm. Unfortunately, they were turned away and had to take refuge in a cave. When he woke up that night, everyone and everything was gone. He managed to find the road again and made it to Denerim, but he never saw the caravan again. that was never stated. It became clear from the dwarf's story that this village would be near the temple, and it occurred to me that they might know something about the urn, and I decided to find the village myself. And that's how this trouble started. I was looking for answers. I thought the villagers would know something about the urn. I was right, they do. They're just not willing to share it with outsiders. When I mentioned the urn, Eirik assured me he would take me to the temple in the morning. He said a room had been prepared for me. I didn't realize it would be this charming place. They seemed intent on finding out personal information about me, where I grew up, things. How do you know? An imposter? What happened to the real Waylon? Oh, poor Waylon. I should never have dragged you into this. Make us take you into his hands, my boy. He believed in me, even when I lost faith in myself. I will honor his memory. Was there something else you wanted to say? All right. What is on your mind? Cure Arl Eamon. Is the Arl sick? What happened? Loghain? Oh, I have been so occupied with the urn. I've missed so much. I certainly hope the ashes will save him. The legends speak of their miraculous powers. There are many stories of pilgrims being healed, the blind seeing, and the lame dancing in joy. Perhaps it is Andraste that does this. Perhaps it is belief itself. By believing the ashes are magical, you make them so. Anyway, that can be discussed once we actually have the ashes, and the Arl is better. All right, are you ready to go then? That's wise. There are many more villagers than the ones you've already dealt with.
That smell. This is Antivan leather, isn't it? I would know that anywhere. I don't know how you found it, but thank you. But I'm not finished admiring them yet. Can you smell that? Like rotting flesh. Just like back in Antiva City. Now, if only you could find me a prostitute or two, a bowl of fish chowder, and a corrupt politician, I'd really feel like I was home. And they fit as well. Marvelous.
I see you're back. Are you ready to go? Ah, good. Help me up here. I'll try not to slow us down. Here we are. Give me the medallion, and let's see if I remember. Yes, you see, it can be manipulated, just like this. And there, a key to open the way. There are very few keys like this left in the world, but I have seen some. When you find the right combination, it just feels right. It is hard to explain. Now, let's see if we can open this door. There should be a place to insert this. Oh, what I would give to have seen this hall in all its splendor, as it was meant to be. Still, sweep away the ice and the snow, and traces of beauty remain. I'm sorry, what? I was a little distracted, I apologize. These carvings were created just after Andraste's death. They may reveal things about her life that we do not yet know. I think I need more time to study these statues and carvings. I could not keep up with you with my injuries. I should be safe. I don't think there are any villagers here. Go. I will be all right. Perhaps my destiny was only to lead you to the An. It was designed to protect the An from those who would steal it or do harm to it, namely the Tevinter Imperium. I'm not sure. The legends were never very specific on that point. Only the faithful shall lay eyes on the sacred ashes. Death and misfortune await the unbeliever. The Maker's gaze has fallen on Andraste's final resting place. He weeps for his beloved, and his wrath at her betrayers endures. That is what the legend says, and the Maker may indeed watch this place. Read between the lines, however, and you'll understand that it is merely a simple truth draped in hyperbole and metaphor. After all, no one wants to hear, Willie toiled for many a year to perfect the curious mechanisms that would send a sharpened spike up the arse of the unwary intruder. I think my decision to stay here was the best one, don't you? I'll be right here if you need me.
I can't believe all this is still standing. This temple must be thousands of years old.
An ancient temple, lost to all but a select few. Magnificent.
Ah, an untouched treasure. What wonders await us here?
It is begun.
Shall we complete
The light was out!
Most excellent! Very well.
More books. We should burn a few to warm ourselves up, I should think.
I don't suppose anyone would mind if I borrowed a book or two.
You think any valuable tomes might still be in a decent condition?
As you say. What shall be done?
shall be done.
Allow me. I could do that for you.
I think they've seen us! As you say. I think they've seen us! of Andraste and her betrayer. What? I went to the Chantry as a child.
Mafras was so jealous of Andraste's power that he betrayed her to the Imperium, which resulted in her death.
I suppose this is supposed to be some fool of religious significance?
We have much to do.
Go.
Trap right ahead.
As you say.
And it's leading into the perfect. Don't get
Let us end this!
As you say.
Allow me. I could do that for you.
Shall be done.
Let's finish this.
Now we play a little.
Another battle axe. I am hurt.
Now we play a little.
Sorry, I was not able to see the end of it.
It's really getting the blood pumping.
I believe we are headed up towards the surface of the mountains.
Lava? Do you think this mountain is about to erupt? Because I don't really want to be here when it does.
If there is anyone in charge of these cultists, we have not met them yet.
Right ahead.
Shall be done.
That hurt.
As you say.
Don't give them the advantage! It's a fine thing we've done!
It has
Sweet. Invigorating that was.
Stop! You will go no further! You have defiled our temple. You have spilled the blood of the faithful and slaughtered our young. No more! You will tell me now, intruder, why you have done all this. Why have you come here? I am Father Colgrim, leader and guide to the disciples of Andraste. Kill us, and you will face Andraste. She will smell our blood, and the blood of her children on you, and her wrath will be great. The Prophet Andraste has overcome death itself, and has returned to her faithful in a form more radiant than you can imagine. Not even the Tevinter Imperium could hope to slay her now. What hope do you have? They are still within this temple, but why do we need ashes when we serve the risen Andraste in all her glory? None but the disciples may approach Andraste. She is not ready yet. But when the time is right, she will descend upon the nations in fiery splendor, and all will know her. But perhaps there is a way to make up for your recent transgressions. It may be because I believe in second chances. All of us stumble through the darkness before being found and shown the light. Perhaps, through Andraste's mercy, her greatest enemy will become her greatest champion. Atop this mountain lie the remains of the mortal Andraste. The urn is watched by an immortal guardian. He is trapped in the past, and refuses to accept the risen Andraste. Now the ashes prevent Holy Andraste from fully realizing her new form. They are a remnant of her past incarnation. She cannot move on, as long as they exist. I speak not of destruction. The beloved needs to reclaim the ashes, to make them her own again. All it would take is a drop of her blood. Blood carries power, strength, knowledge! Through it, all the power that is held in the ashes will be returned to Our Lady. The Guardian has foiled all our attempts to reach the urn. He keeps what power remains from true Andraste. He knows the disciples, and we cannot touch him, for he draws his strength from the ashes themselves. But you could deliver Our Lady what is rightfully hers.
What is this talk of blood and power? And he thinks Andraste is reborn. It is preposterous. I do not like this.
The rewards for such a service would be great indeed. No! He waits for pilgrims to come venerate the urn. He will assume that you are one of these. The task is simple. I give you a vial of the Holy Andraste's blood, and you empty the vial into the ashes. Whatever magic was held in the ashes will be undone, and our great lady will be freed from the shackles of her past life! Once that is done, you will have earned your place as our honored brother. There is a great power contained in blood. Through Andraste's guidance, we have learned to harness it. It can be yours, in exchange for a trivial task. A vial of blood emptied into the urn. That is all I ask. Take this. The blood of the dragon. You know what you must do.
If we succeed, Colgrim and his fellows will be indebted to you. That puts you in a very advantageous position.
Excellent. With Colgrim on our side, we could make it through this entire ordeal with our necks intact.
Now, I shall beseech the Holy Andraste to let you pass safely into the inner sanctum.
They say music soothes the savage beast, but I'm not going to test that theory.
Be cautious. A dragon such as this is better to avoid than engage.
A high dragon? We're not planning on actually fighting it, are we? Couldn't we just sneak around it?
Great Andraste, I pray you, stay your wrath. I bring before you your champion, who will fall upon your enemies as a cleansing flame, paving the way for your glory. O beloved Andraste, O holy Andraste, we praise your name. I have spoken to the beloved Andraste. She will let you pass. You would betray the disciples? Andraste herself will feast on your flesh! Show yourself to be Andraste! Come, let us go!
Shall we complete?
Now you fall!
Now the fun starts!
Maker's breath!
Very well.
not like the rest of the temple. This part is unblemished, untouched.
We must be close. This is holy ground. I can feel it.
I feel like we have just entered the Grand Cleric's bedchambers, where no one has gone before.
I bid you welcome, pilgrim. Yes, I am the guardian of the ashes. I have waited years for this. It has been my duty, my life, to protect the urn and prepare the way for the faithful who come to revere Andraste. For years beyond counting have I been here, and shall I remain until my task is done and the Imperium has crumbled into the sea. I do not know, and I do not question. When my brethren and I carried Andraste from Tevinter to this sanctuary, we vowed to forever revere her memory and guard her. I have watched generations of my brethren take up the mantle of their fathers. For centuries they did this, unwavering, joyful in their appointed task. But now they have lost their way. They have forgotten Andraste and their promise. They have forgotten that Andraste was just a messenger. They speak no more of the Maker, only of their false Andraste, and even greater sin. It began with an ancestor of the one known as Colgrim. He saw himself as a new prophet, preaching the rebirth. Some disagreed with him. I heard their cries of pain and loss, which were quickly silenced. The Maker will sit in judgment of them when the time comes. Colgrim knows not of what he speaks. His heart is laced with poison, and he has led many astray. No, our Andraste has gone to the Maker's side. She will not return. The dragon is a fearsome creature, and they must have seen her as an alternative to the absent Maker and his silent Andraste. A true believer would not require audacious displays of power. I am all that remains of the first disciples. I swore I would protect the urn as long as I lived, and I have lived a very long time. Did anyone really know her, save the Maker? She would sometimes spend weeks alone in meditation, often without food or water. I cannot express in words my love for Andraste. I made a vow to Andraste and to the Maker. My life is tied to the ashes. As long as they remain, so will I. You already know that the urn contains the remains of the prophet Andraste. What else is there to tell? You have come to honor Andraste, and you shall, if you prove yourself worthy. It is not my place to decide your worthiness. The gauntlet does that. If you are found worthy, you will see the urn and be allowed to take a small pinch of the ashes for yourself. If not, the gauntlet tells the true pilgrims from the false. You will undergo 4 tests of faith, and we shall see how your soul fares. You will understand what it is when you face it. Before you go, there is something I must ask. I see that the path that led you here was not easy. There is suffering in your past. Your suffering, and the suffering of others. You abandoned your father and mother, leaving them in the hands of Rendon Howe. He would show no mercy. Do you think you failed your parents? Thank you. That is all I wish to know.
Is there any religion that does not thrive upon guilt, like a glutton at his lunch? No, I thought not.
You could not have known what would happen. You did what you thought was best.
And now the self-flagellation? Oh, that is what comes next in these things, no?
And what of those that follow you? And you? Why do you say he speaks to you, when all know that the Maker has left? He spoke only to Andraste. Do you believe yourself her equal?
I never said that.
In Orlais, you were someone. In Lothering, you feared you would lose yourself, become a drab sister, and disappear. When your brothers and sisters of the cloister criticized you for what you professed, you were hurt, but you also reveled in it. It made you special. You enjoyed the attention, even if it was negative.
You're saying that I made it up for the attention? I did not. I know what I believe.
And the Antivan elf.
Oh, is it my turn now? Hurrah! I'm so excited.
Many have died at your hand. But is there any you regret more than a woman by the name of...
How do you know about that?
I know much. It is allowed to me. The question stands, however. Do you regret?
Yes, the answer is yes, if that's what you wish to know. I do. Now move on.
And you, Morrigan, Flemeth's daughter, what?
Begone, spirit. I will not play your games.
I will respect your wishes. The way is open. And what you seek.
Echoes from a shadow realm, whispers of things yet to come. Thought's strange sister dwells in night, is swept away by dawning light. Of what do I speak? A dream came upon me as my daughter slumbered beneath my heart. It told of her life, and of her betrayal and death. I am sorrow and regret. I am a mother weeping bitter tears for a daughter she could not save.
The smallest lark could carry it, while a strong man might not. Of what do I speak? Yes, I was Andraste's dearest friend in childhood, and always we would sing. She celebrated the beauty of life, and all who heard her would be filled with joy. They say the Maker himself was moved by Andraste's song, and then she sang no more of simple things.
I'd neither a guest nor a trespasser be, In this place I belong, that belongs also to me. Of what do I speak? It was my dream for the people to have a home of their own, where we would have no masters but ourselves. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, and thus we followed Andraste against the Imperium. But she was betrayed, and so were we.
An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. The debt of blood must be paid in full. Of what do I speak? Yes, my husband Hysarion would have chosen a quick death for Andraste. I made him swear that she would die publicly with her war leaders, that all would know the Imperium's strength. I am justice. I am vengeance. Blood can only be repaid in blood.
A poison of the soul, passion's cruel counterpart. From love she grows, till love lies slain. Of what do I speak? Yes, jealousy drove me to betrayal. I was the greatest general of the Alamari, but beside her I was nothing. Hundreds fell before her on bended knee. They loved her, as did the Maker. I loved her too. But what man can compare with a god?
The bones of the world stretched towards the sky's embrace, veiled in white, like a bride greeting her groom. Of what do I speak? Yes. I carried Andraste's ashes out of Tevinter into the mountains to the east, where she could gaze ever into her Maker's sky. No more fitting a tomb than this could we find.
She wields the broken sword and separates true kings from tyrants. Of what do I speak? Yes, I could not bear the sight of Andraste's suffering, and mercy bade me end her life. I am the penitent sinner, who shows compassion as he hopes compassion will be shown to him.
No man has seen it, but all men know it. Lighter than air, sharper than any sword. Comes from nothing, but will fell the strongest armies. Of what do I speak? Yes, hunger was the weapon used against the wicked men of the Tevinter Imperium. The Maker kindled the sun's flame, scorching the land. The crop, and their armies could not march. Then he opened the heavens and bade the waters flow, and washed away their filth. I am Kefer, disciple of Andraste and commander of her armies. I saw these things done, and knew the Makers smiled on us.
My dearest child, no torment of our devising can match that of which you inflict on yourself. No more must you grieve, my boy. Take the pain and the guilt, acknowledge it, and let go. It is time. You have such a long road ahead of you, and you must be prepared. And so I leave this in your hands. I know you will do great things with it.
Yes?
I'm wounded!
Is that all you've got?
Let us do it quickly. This is too much.
Chasing the dark side of your soul or some such rubbish.
Did you see the cruelty on her face? Is that really what I am?
Maker's breath, I'm beautiful. Did you see that? Did you see me? Magnificent.
Very well.
This looks fun. I bet we'll have to work together and join hands and sing a happy song to get across.
Another obstacle. 'Tis almost beyond endurance.
Ah, this looks like a simple enough puzzle. Let us put our heads together.
That part of it, but I don't think it is. Try something else. Are like stepping stones, aren't they? We have to take them one at a time to get across.
Oh, I'm tired. Let's get one person across and be done with it. I am yours.
That was exciting. Can we do it again? I don't know what to say.
Mother of mercy. It is real.
Powerful magic indeed.
You have been through the trials of the Gauntlet. You have walked the path of Andraste, and like her, you have been cleansed. You have proven yourself worthy, Pilgrim. Approach the sacred ashes.
I never dreamed I would ever lay my eyes on the urn of sacred ashes. I have no words to express.
I stand in awe. Really?
Nice vase. I should get one for my house. So I wonder, do you intend to take your mother's place now?
Take her place? What do you mean?
As the new Witch of the Wild. That was her title, no? When one slays the queen, it's assumed they'll take her throne.
Considering the throne is a small shack in the middle of a cold wilderness, I think I may just pass.
And why would you lie to me, I wonder?
Ah, is this the part where you hint at some subtle plot of mine? Because you are so very perceptive?
So you didn't know what your mother planned until you read it in that book. That's what you said.
That...
I admire you. You are a wicked, wicked woman.
And you are a fool who spends far too much time on his hair.
Welcome back. You were gone for quite some time. Well, did you find it? Better. Much better. It seems I shall have the limp for the rest of my days, but at least I have my life. Did you find it? The urn. Is that? There's some dust on... No, that's not dust. Oh, Maker, I'm not worthy to look upon. What was it like, coming to the urn, I mean? Tests? Interesting. Very interesting. Perhaps my research will not seem so much like blasphemy to the Chantry now. We must organize an expedition. Much history here, it must be studied. And pilgrims should be allowed to come to the urn. But the urn belongs to all the faithful. How can you deny this to them? No, we must share it.
I agree. We cannot withhold this from others. It is not our place.
And perhaps charge an entrance fee, no?
Yes, share it. Spread the word and more will come under the Chantry's power. Is this not what you want?
I will spread this good news or die trying. I must return home. I have much to do. If you ever find yourself in Denerim, please visit me. I am not a rich man, but I have a small collection of interesting artifacts, and I do owe you a reward for coming to my rescue. I hope to see you soon, my friend.
What say you? By all means. Well, the only one that's really worth the story of the mission right before I came to Fair Elden. But no, I would rather not. I shouldn't have said anything. Nothing that I would prefer to speak of. Perhaps another day, I'm sorry.
You've seen and touched Andraste's ashes. They are the holiest thing on this earth, the remains of the Maker's Chosen. I know, it seems almost irreverent to use her as a curative, and it is also a tiny bit morbid. I do not know if I am worthy to look upon her. Yes, of course, but it still is something to be in awe of.
Your desire? We're in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any. Discuss away. I am not certain what to say. I warned you, did I not? I told you that this was a weakness that was driving me mad, and yet you insisted. Yes, you do, and I want it too. That is not right, is it? That is not how a normal woman acts. I can see it in your eyes. Release me. Tell me that you wish to end this. Make me believe you, and I will be grateful. You miserable, selfish bastard! You will regret this, and so will I. And perhaps that is how it must be.